Hi, welcome to Cute Things by Rebecca. I am Rebecca, and today we are talking mini quilts. We need to talk about mini quilts because they're cute. They're a great, great addition to your home decor. Do I sound like a commercial? I probably do. But with them readily available through myself and other designers, it's just a fun project to do, to keep up with the seasons, holidays, etc. They're just fun. And I'm going to show you how you can customize them a little bit to use it different ways, or to make it so you don't need a stand with them, because there's lots of little options for hanging it as well. So let's talk about some stands. These stands I got off Amazon. I will put everything in the descriptions, but this is my favorite stand. It's great for the 6x10 mini quilts. They fit there perfectly. This is just another scroll stand I got from Amazon, and it fits the 6x6 perfectly. I do like using the stands, but I also like hanging them. So I found a couple of other little things that you can use to hold them. So this is just, and these are more reasonably priced. These are a little pricier. These would be great for gifts, and I've done this too. I bought a stand for my daughter, and then with the holidays and stuff, I send her one of these. So these make great gifts as well. If you have a person in your life that you love and you want to help them decorate, this is a great way to go. You buy the stand and then send them these when you make them. But anyways, here's a little hangy thing. On this one, I didn't put a tab. I was going to use it as a larger coaster, so you can use mini quilts as a larger coaster. You don't have to put the tab on the top. You can use these little cute things and hang them on the wall or wherever. I do have a couple of these. This little cute little bunny one. This one I'm just showing as an example. I do have a tab here, but if I didn't want that little tab there, this is a 6x10. You can hang it from the wall still with this cute little hanger. So there's all kinds of options with hangers on the Amazon. I have this one too. I haven't used this one yet because I don't really have one big enough, that would look right. But those are some options. So you don't have to use a tab. You don't have to buy the expensive scrolls. You can just buy a cute little thing like that and hang it, or use it as a coaster. Or you don't even need these little things here. And I'm going to show you in the video, or mention it, how you can add ribbon to it so you can hang it instead of if you had nail it in your wall already. Or you can use jute or twine or something and hang it. So I'm going to show you how I do that. So those are a few ideas that you can do with the mini quilts. They don't have to be like this. This is how I do them. I like them this way. But any of my projects or anything that I do is never written in stone for you. You do what's best for you and what you want. But how can you say no to this? Every day is a fresh start. Anyways, these are just some of the 6x10s, or I'm sorry, 6x6 that I've done that I keep because I switch them out. This one is made out of vinyl. I have vinyl on the front, and then for the pockets I use fabric. But you can use different kinds of materials, because on this you turn it. Though I probably didn't have to do the whole turn thing. I could have just ran the outline and cut it out. But you don't have to stick to cotton. You can do it in vinyl. So some of the mini quilts out there are shapes. I don't have a heart one yet. I'm thinking I'm doing a heart one. But I found this cute little stand. It's a heart stand. And if I did a cute little mini quilt of a heart, which I'm thinking I might do, you could hang it in there. I use these for ornaments too. So stands. We have lots of stands and scrolls that we can use. I think that was it as far as customizing. Like I said, nothing is written in stone when it comes to my designs. You do what you want. When you go to purchase one of my mini quilt designs, it's got 7 or 8 sizes. So you can choose one, you can choose 2, you can choose them all. I did that so you wouldn't have to buy them all. What if you don't have a big machine and never thought you'd get one? Or you just don't like the big ones. So I made it so you can just buy what you want. So anyways, here we go. Let's get started. We're gonna make Halloween. Welcome Halloween. You can't see, I didn't choose right fabric. I should have used a lighter purple. But if you look, there's a little spider right there. He's cute. He's there. You just can't really see him in there. I should have made him like orange. I should have made an orange spider. But let's get started. Okay, so I've sort of switched views. We're doing 2 of them. We're going to make a 6x6 and a 6x10. So I have all the items that we need for both of those. But these do come with directions in the files when you buy them. Just basic directions. A step or 2 may be switched, but I had edited the directions to reflect that. Because once you make a few, you kind of get to a point where you're like, why did I do this? Let's change it. So that's what happened a couple of years ago with this. I do keep these for now the same style. I do a main with a bottom. And if I do change it up ever, I will always add new directions with it. So I just like this setup because you can use your cute fabrics. You know, you can use a solid and then use a contrast or whatever. I just like this style. I know that many's out there and they have them all kinds of fancy, but I'm basic. I like cute, simple. And this is what we have. And today we're going to make a Halloween one. So, the basic supplies that you need for a mini quilt is some fabric. Most people do it with cotton or woven fabric. Actually, I did one with vinyl last year and it turned out pretty cute too. So this one was made out of vinyl. So you don't have to use woven. You can use whatever materials that you want because we turn it so you won't have any fraying or anything. So and for stabilizer, I have hooped poly mesh in mine for now. I like to do that with the mini quilts, but they're usually stitch intensive, so I recommend cutaway, but you could use tearaway, but cutaway is good, or poly mesh. Let's talk batting. We like to put a little fluff in our project so the quilting stands out a little bit. So this is just regular cotton batting that I use, but you can use scraps of flannel or felt. I've used felt a lot because I didn't want to break into my batting, but I broke into my batting today, so I have some batting. So, and then we have main fabric. We have a contrasting fabric. And then I have I'm going to do a little tab on top for this one. And then here's my closing. This one is not the folded over closing like I like to do, but I wanted to show you because the folded over, when you use one piece and it's larger pieces of fabric that you're using. But I like doing it that way because if I do make it a coaster, it has a little bit of extra fabric. It does not bother me to use a full piece at all. It's actually easier for me to do it this way, and I'm going to do it that way on the 6x6. But you can take your pieces and just iron over about 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, 2 pieces, and then we'll butt those up at the end. So several different ways you can close these. All my designs have an opening. Not all my designs, I'm sorry, the mini quilt, they will have an opening too. It is before the very last step. It leaves an opening so you can turn through that, and then you can sew up the ends, or you can use some Stitch Witchery or something and iron it closed. I'm not going to show you how to do that because then I have to get my iron and everything out over here, and I'm just being lazy, I suppose. But let's get started. So this is the basic mini quilt that I have. Now the steps will obviously be different by the design, so just go by what the PDF says if you're using a PDF to do your design, or just follow your machine along. So let's get started. The first step on the machine is a placement step. I'm going to run both those right now. I will be right back. Okay, so we have the placement step. Now what you want to do is take your batting and lay it over the entire placement step and run the next step. Okay, so we tacked on the batting. Now what you can do if you like is trim around the batting. Some people do that, some people don't. Some people feel it's too thick in the seams. I don't. So I'm not going to trim it. I'm going to go ahead and run the next step on the machine, and it's going to be a placement step for your top fabric. So let's go run that now, and I am doing the 6x6 at the same time, but at the end I will show you how to seal them up in different ways. So I'll go run that and I'll be right back. Okay, so we have the placement for the top part of our design. So go ahead and grab your main top fabric and lay it over the entire design, up to there if you want, or you can use the whole thing. Just make sure your fabric won't, you know, mess up that. I'm going to do it the right way. I won't be lazy today. So I'm going to just put this up a little past that placement, like so. And then I'm going to run that tack down right now. Okay, so we tacked on that top fabric. Now the next step is the quilting. And so I'm going to go ahead and run the quilting, and then after the quilting we do the bottom piece. Okay, so we did the quilting. The next step is going to be a placement line for this. Don't really need it because you can see, but that's what it is, a placement line. Okay, so we ran that placement line. It just made it the little box here. Now what you want to do is just take your fabric. I'm using a solid, but let's say you wanted to do a pretty one there. I'll just use this for an example. You want to make sure that it's facing down, because it's going to stitch a line and then we're going to pull it down like so. So make sure your pretty side is facing down when you're doing this part. So since I'm doing a solid, it don't matter, but I'm just going to line it up just past that stitch line right there. So the next step is just a line. Let's go run that right now. Okay, so we ran that line. Now you just want to take your fabric and finger press it, and then run the next step, and it will tack this down. Okay, excuse me. So the basic construction is done. Now you just want to run the design, and I'm going to do that now, and then I'll be back and we'll finish it all up. Okay, we are all done stitching out our design. I have the 6x10 and then the 6x6 ready to go. We're just about finished. So for finishing up, like I said, there were several different ways you could do this. You could add a cute ribbon for a hanger. Just be sure to put the raw edges on the outside of your project and the loop part on the inside, so when it stitches it'll go up. You can use ribbon, you can use this too, or you could make tabs for your holders, your frames or whatever, like so. And how you do this is that you grab a piece of fabric and just iron over the long sides and then fold it in half. So now you have no raw edges exposed. And then what you want to do is the raw edges need to be on the outside of your project. So what I do is line it up and then I tape it. Try to find the center. I do have placement steps for these because everybody's going to do it different, or they might not be in the right place for you or whatever. Anyway, so what you want to do is this. Tape it with the folded edge on the inside of your project. And then for this one, we're doing 2 pieces of fabric, but we're not doing the whole entire fold over. So what I've done is just taken some fabric and ironed it over 1/2 inch ish, and then you just want to place them like so together. And then I like to tape. I like tape. I tape where the seam is, where it's going to stitch, because I don't want my foot catching underneath any of these things. So I just lift it up a little bit and see where it's going to stitch. It's going to stitch right about there. A little bit on the inside because we don't want to see those stitches. So I just put a little tape on both sides of where it's going to stitch, so that way it won't catch. And sometimes when your machines go back to the center of the design, it can catch too. So you can tape it in the center too, or across there, so it doesn't catch. Sometimes I put the seam off center, so I know it won't catch, but I'm just gonna try to be safe. I can't remember which way the machine goes, if it goes this way and then ends here, or if it goes this way and ends here. But either way, I'm going to be safe. My foot won't catch. So that's how we're going to do the 6x10 for closing. And then for the 6x6, it's the same method. It's just like I said, everybody does things different. So I'm going to put it on a little tab so I can hang it. I might keep it in my barn. It's Halloween season. Didn't have a Halloween one. I had to make one. And so on this, I just have two pieces. The pieces are larger because I fold them in half, completely in half, and then place it over the project with a little bit of overlap. So, like so, like so. And then once again, I like to tape where I know it's going to sew so it doesn't catch on anything. So just a little piece, nothing fancy. And then I'm going to go ahead and just tape the center. So the next step on the machine though is it leaves an opening. So it would sew around and leave an opening, and then you would turn through that and then sew it or seal it shut. We're going to skip that step and go to the very last step, which is going to sew all around. I'm going to do that and I will be right back. We are almost finished. Okay, we are all finished. So just remove all your your tape and trim around the project. And then we turn through the opening. I'm going to do that here in just a second. I don't think you want to watch me do all that. Look at all this tape. It's worth it though, because I've had my projects get caught and it messes up that last outline, and I have to take it to the sewing machine and fix it because it'll rip it right out of the hoop. So anyways, that's all you do is trim all around, and we'll have something cute. I do love these mini quilts, and I wanted to show you the difference between the two, because obviously one is longer, and I do have several sizes of the longer ones, like the 5x7, 6x10, 7x12, 8x12. They're longer, and then I have the square versions, like the 5x5, the 6x6, and an 8x8, I think is what the other size is. So I'm gonna finish this one. I'm gonna turn it. I'll be right back. Okay, so I trimmed that one and turned it inside out. Look at how cute it is. And then this is what it looks like on the back when we did the seams folded over like so. It leaves a good clean look like that, and it's not so thick. You could even use like scrap fabric on this because it's in the back. Nobody's really going to pay attention to that. But there you have that one. And then here's the other one. And you might want to take it to your iron when you're done and get the wrinkles out. But this is my basic mini quilt design. Like I said, I like to keep things simple, but you can change it up, you know, with this bottom piece and the top piece. Use coordinating fabrics, whatever. I just like simple. We like quick, easy, simple projects over here at Cute Things. So here we go. So now I can put that in my little stand that I keep in here. And I keep one in the house too. I have them everywhere. Anyways, I wanted to show you the difference with the designs too. So the longer designs, the 5x7, 6x10, 7x12, 8x12s, they take up the majority of the top. So you'll see like so. It goes from the top to the bottom. And then these do the same a little bit, but you'll have more room on the edges because it's a square. It's the same design put here and made smaller. So it's adjusted accordingly to fit the square versions. So anyways, I hope this video was helpful of all the different ways you can do these. You don't have to use the hangers. You can make your own, you know. Anyways, it's just fun. I love these things. Thank you so much for watching.